bank or a company can't do that because those creatures don't breathe air. They don't eat meat. They breathe profits. They eat the interest on money. Sure, cried the tenant man, but it's our land. We were born on it. We got killed on it. We died on it. Even if it's no good, it's still ours. That's what makes it ours. Being born on it, working on it, dying on it. That makes ownership, not a piece of paper with numbers on it. We're sorry. It's not us. It's the monster. The bank isn't like a man. Yes, but the bank is only made of men. Oh, no, you're wrong there. Quite wrong. The bank is something else. It happens that every man in a bank hates what the bank does, and yet the bank does it. The bank is something more than men, I tell you. It's the monster. Men made it. But they can't control it. Mammon. Mammon. Those structures in our society. Those things in our society that we can't seem to break through. I mean, how on earth could we possibly give all our money away? We don't live in a culture that would even allow it. It would make no sense. We live in the midst of a society where the structures insist on certain things. We certainly feel that pressure. We don't have a great deal of choice. So we feel. It's not just the banks. It's all the institutions that find a way to manipulate us, to bring about their own kind of security. Church does it. Most of these institutions, you know, they use fear. Either a fear that something terrible is going to happen to you if you don't follow in line to what it is that they are saying, or maybe a reward if you do. And then there's ostracizing if you don't fit in with that which is going on. You have to stand outside of society instead of inside of it. Just try to live without a credit card, huh? And then there are the secrets. That's the thing about the mammon, about these powers and principalities. It's the secrets that somehow manage to perpetuate the institution, the monster, the mammon. That's what Jesus is dealing with here, not just the money. It's way bigger than that. So big that it demoralizes us. Demoralizes everyone in it. Because you can't catch the vision. When you live inside the mammon, inside the structure, it's difficult to catch the vision and see what else could possibly change it. That's why Jesus spoke. He spoke because he wanted us to get out of that dance of give some money, keep some money, feel some guilt. And instead recognize that we were in that dance precisely because we were surrounded by structures that have taken control of our lives. And it was Jesus' hope that a new reign would come in, a new system would come in, and that we would dedicate our lives to the reign of God. But how do you do that? How on earth do you do that? Well, Jesus had already spent a lot of time telling them. It's not an accident that in the very center of the Sermon on the Mount, which is a collection of sayings that really trying to describe what the reign of God would look like. It's no accident that right in the middle of it is a lesson in prayer, where the Lord's Prayer is. Dan Reynolds is going to be talking about the Lord's Prayer the next couple of weeks. Talking about how it forms the heart of the faithful one. Talking about how prayer can do that. Maybe not that prayer in and of itself, but it gives lessons, it teaches us, it opens the possibility to us so that we can be formed in the presence of this creative power of God that continually works through the history of creation. And once we've been formed in that spirit, learned how to live in that way, well, that changes our hearts. where your treasure is, there's where your heart will be. Your heart begins to open. You begin to care about the things that are around you, a little less about what's going on with yourself. And as you become more and more formed in the presence of God, your eyes begin to clear. And you recognize one clear and important thing, that the mammon is intended to serve God. We need it. Those structures bring stability to our society. They make living together possible, but they need to serve the creative purposes of God and not simply serve themselves. And when we are formed in the presence of God, the clarity of vision, the light that comes on, allows us to act with a different kind of confidence, with a different kind of hope. Not so overwhelmed that we can't imagine dealing with the powers, the principalities, the mammon, the wealth. That's the vision that we have in this place. That's the vision we're seeking to have grow. When we engage the presence of God, our hearts and our eyes become clear and open. We see mammon for what it is, a structure that can live into the creative purposes of God, or that which can swallow us up whole. But the truth is that the presence and creative movements of God put mammon at the service of God. That is the best news for the poor. For in the final analysis, the banks cannot win. That is the best news for you and me. We can move out of that sense of deep guilt and instead seek to form ourselves so that we can attack a much larger problem with the sense that the power of God is there beside us. This is wonderful. It's the best news for the whole world, where it carries within it the hope that God will bring about some beautiful next, some justice, some hope. But the responsibility does rest on us. We can't do it ourselves. But we are a community that are here to be formed in the Spirit of God so that our hearts are open and our eyes are clear. And if we can reach out and expand this community and let it expand beyond these walls, beyond the boundaries of this county, beyond the state, this message has gone on like a virus before, filling the world and changing the way people think. We can build a community with a clear eye and an open heart. And when we do, we will see that the mammon will serve the purposes